You have been so good. You have been so good to me. In my faithless hour, you've been my strength. You are my tower from the enemy. You have been so good, so good to me. Your hand is always faithful. Your mercy never ends. And when I feel unable, your grace is there again.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in onto our Facebook page. Dear viewers, as a parent, you want to do everything you can to protect your child. But this coronavirus pandemic has brought new challenges to all of us globally and even in Kenya. Today, I'm privileged to have our guests. I'll let them introduce themselves. We'll start with ladies first.
Thank you, Patrick. Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Leonora Mukala. I'm born again, love Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I am a teacher at Jamhuri High School, where I teach French. I am also a mentor. I mentor students and even student teachers. Thank you and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Mom. May God bless you, and feel free.
Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you, Patrick, for this opportunity. My name is Pastor Fanuel De Messi. I'm a pastor at Friends International, St. Ngong Road. And again, I'm a parental empowerment facilitator and a male agent of change facilitator. I want to thank God for this opportunity to be here and be part of this discussion.
Thank you so much. Karibuni sana, and get to feel free. Dear viewers, thank you. You can start following us. And as we get to talk, since last year, when COVID was announced, took it for granted. But when it came to March, you can remember the date well, on 15th March, that is when the first pandemic was announced in the country. So from March up to now, people are talking about COVID-19. Now, COVID-19 has come with different challenges. And today, with our panelists, I'd like us to look at parental challenges and what can parents do. I'm very happy all our panelists here, they are parents. The first question I might want to ask to our panelists, I'll start with Mom. How are you managing COVID-19 as a parent?
Thank you, Patrick. I forgot to say that I'm a mother of 6 children, and I thank God for them. First and foremost, I'd like to say that COVID-19 got us unawares, but we want to thank God because we know the Lord. So as a parent, just like any other parent, it may not be easy, but I want to remind us that when we trust in Jesus, everything goes well. So how am I managing? That was the question.
Yes.
First and foremost, I have a schedule, which we follow as a family. And my children do, and they follow too. On that schedule, we have time for sports, we have time for eating, we have time for prayer, we have time for watching TV, and we also have time for relaxing. So schedule is number 1. Number 2, I also manage through advice. We do a lot of exchange with the children, together with my husband, and we have bonded quite a lot. And lastly, I manage through the grace of God. It is not an easy time because the children are there, they want to eat, they want to Zoom, they want data bundles, they want everything. And so in everything, I pray to God that God give me so that I can provide for my children. Thank you.
Wow, I like that. So basically, there's a plan for everything in your family. Pastor Demesi.
Yeah, for me, mine is quite a young family, but not all that young. I have a 24-year-old girl, and I have a teenager, and the others are very small girls. The challenge for me is that I don't have them in Nairobi.
Wow.
I'm the only one in Nairobi, and they are in the village.
Uh-huh.
And this is quite something difficult for me. But one of the things that I'm doing, that I have made it a habit to call every day, ask them how they are going on, also make them feel that I am well wherever I am. And so I keep on talking to them about what is happening in the world today. Of course, they put their phone on loudspeaker. And they can hear me, all of them. Sometimes I do a video call, and that has really helped. They would even want to know what I am eating. So I have to sometimes take a photo of what I have prepared, just to show them that Dad is doing well.
So there's that connection, communication is still happening.
Yes, I do that every morning.
Yes.
And every evening I have to talk to them.
On a daily basis.
Yes.
That is
but
good.
My wife, I have to talk to her throughout the day. We have to communicate to know what they are going through.
That is very interesting, Pasi. Mommy has said that God has blessed them with 6 children. Maybe, you might want to share.
I have 4.
4. Wow. Pia sisi tutafika pale. I'm blessed. I'm a father of 1, and I thank God step by step. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Maybe, Mommy, again to you. Despite you having the program, what you've told us and all, any struggles, any frustrations, being a mother, have you experienced any frustrations, any struggles?
In fact, they are there, Patrick.
Yes.
Challenges are there, struggles are there. Number one struggle is sometimes some of the children are not cooperative. For example, after lunch, we really struggle to wash the dishes. We really struggle with them. Number 2 is the waking time. Sometimes we can tell ourselves we're waking up at 6, we go for a run, we come back, but you'll find that 1 or 2 of the children are not waking up. And then number 3 is now the books. That is where there is a problem. Some of them are really fond of the television. And when you tell them, please read a book, and even tell me the story of what you have read, they tell me, Mommy, just give me 10 minutes. The 10 minutes build into 20 into 1 hour. And then you find by the end of the day, they have not looked at their books, and yet they are students. And especially I have a candidate in the house, class 8, and these days she tries, but at the beginning it was very hard. So those are some of the challenges. And maybe another challenge also is the food. You really have to provide. You really have to provide for the children. And when there is no food, I'm telling you, you cannot be their friends. Thank you.
Wow. Food, television set, waking up. We'll get to talk into that. Pastor Demesi, now your family is on the other side. The connection that you have, it's for any frustrations, any struggles.
Yeah, the frustration would be that apart from just calling, your children, my family would want to see me. But then it is very difficult for me to go over to where they are. And explaining all this to them is actually a tall order. Number 2 is the idea of food, as Mom also puts it, that I have to cater for them back in the village, and here I have to also have something to eat. And it is not easy that sometimes I'm not in a position and they are far away from me. And sometimes I have something in the house and I know it is not at home. So it really frustrates me to know that I have something in the house which could help my children, but I can't get it to them.
Wow. I want to pick from what you've just talked about you need to cater for yourself and you still need to cater for your family back at home. And maybe, Mom, I want to ask this question. How can you explain to, truth be told, people have lost their jobs. We have had some pay cuts and all. How do you explain to the family, especially your children, the hardship that the effect the COVID-19 has caused financially? Because when we were working when this thing was not there, you were able to provide everything. How do you go about explaining to them? Yes, how do you go about explaining to them?
Okay, a good question. First and foremost, I want to thank God because the Teacher Service Commission pays me, and my husband is also employed by the government, and we are on a payroll. But I have sisters, I have brothers, I have cousins, I have friends who have lost their jobs. I have people who even their businesses have closed. First and foremost, if I were in their shoe, I would explain to the children. Children are not easy to understand because remember, they've been at school where they've been having lunch, breakfast, they've been having supper. And now there is a situation where the school is no more and the food is no more. How do I explain to them? First and foremost, I will explain to them the issue of COVID-19. Coronavirus, I'll tell them, is affecting everybody, not only Kenya, but even other countries that are well off. So I'll put that clear to them. And I'll tell them this is why schools have closed. And because of that, the government is affected. And therefore, our salary is affected. For those whose is affected, our businesses will be affected. So it's almost canceling them. And then talking them out. And then letting them ask you questions. Respond to those questions. And then you reach a consensus. And you tell them from now, life has changed. It may never be the same.
Wow, thanks. So, Mom, what I'm getting from you is having that candid talk about the situation, how it is.
Sure.
Pasi,
Yes.
you know, I picked that question. It was very interesting. I picked it from you. How do we explain to our kids?
Yeah, that is a very pertinent question. And I know that each and every family has their own standard in terms of their eating program.
Yes.
So for those families that have had to change drastically because of job losses and problems in their businesses, parents have really a great job to explain to their children. But there are some families that, like what Mom is saying,
Yes.
they may not have been affected in one way, especially those who are working with the government and some institutions that have not done anything to the salaries of the people. Those one may not have a real problem.
Okay.
But this is what I would say, that it is always good to sit with our children and let them know the situation that is happening in the world. Perhaps we can use the teachable moments. The teachable moments, I would call them, you're watching a television together. And there is something that is being aired about people who are going hungry, people who have a problem. You can use that to explain to them and tell them, you know, for us, we have to thank God that we can have 3 meals in a day. But you can see what is happening. There are people out there who have a problem. So that your children also know that for them having the meals is something to thank God for. But they should not also look at other people and think that they are better than the other people. Just being able to appreciate that today we are privileged, but there is a family out there that are going through a challenge. So I would say using the teachable moment.
Using the teachable moments to explain to the kids.
Yes.
Wow, dear viewers, I hope you're learning something and you're getting to follow up. Kindly, you can continue sending your questions on our Facebook page, and our panelists will be able to answer them with the grace of God. Again, Mama Leonara, there's this thing that has called, I find it being hard. You are a teacher, your husband works for the government. Basically, when you are in class, you are there from 8 to 4. You've been spending most of the time at work. But right now, the government advised people, you know what? Work from home. We've had all this technology about the Zoom and all. I think people are having a challenge working from home and parenting as well. What is the advice to balancing your work and balancing the family? Balancing your work and balancing the family.
Okay, it is not easy to balance, but we can always make it. I remember yesterday I was to give a Zoom lesson to my students. And because of the noise in the house, I was forced to go somewhere else, which was far from my house. And sometimes when I'm giving my lesson, sometimes I give lessons 3 times a week in French. The children come in and they want to ask me a question. These are my children, I cannot put them off. And these are also my students. And I don't teach only my students, I teach students from all over the country because it's a Zoom and you send your password to the other teachers and they send to their students, so you have a full class. So how do I manage to balance? When it comes time for Zoom, I prepare my children early in advance. I tell them, look here, children, tomorrow from 11 to 12, I'll be having a lesson. And I'll be having it maybe in the sitting room or in the study room. So please give me my 1 hour or 1.5 hours, be in another room, be in the kitchen. After that, we can come and be together. Another thing I do is that apart from talking to them, preparing them in advance, I also sometimes leave and go to another place. Because I also have to give them their space, because maybe they are watching a television, or it's time for watching their television, their favorite program. I can't deny them. So I have to move and go to a different place, leave them so that they can also enjoy themselves. And finally, they also have lessons, Zoom lessons. When they're having their Zoom lessons, I make sure I give them my phone or my laptop. I make sure I bought for them bundles so that they don't see like mom is not concerned. And sometimes, especially with my child who is in secondary, I am there with her. Really, when she's doing mathematics on Zoom, I'm there with her because I know mathematics can be very challenging. So I'm there with her and she really likes it when I'm there with her. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Basically, parenting, there's a challenge between parenting and working from home. What I'm getting here, Pasi, is you have to balance. Your family comes and still work comes. But mom is saying it's not that easy, parenting.
Yeah, the challenge for me is, this one is not really what I'm going through because I've told you my family is not in Nairobi.
Yes.
But one thing I know, that every parent who goes home, irrespective of what you do, you come home, your children don't call you by your title. They call you mom or dad.
Yes.
And that is how they know you. So how do you then get home and strip yourself of the title that you are used to at the place of work? You know, for them at home, you are at home.
Yes, you're at home.
They don't understand what you are doing on that thing.
Yes.
On the Zoom, I mean, they will want you to address the issues that are there. And I know this could be a real challenge. And you know, if you are on Zoom, there are things that you would want not to be seen.
The background,
the background. And the children may just come without even knowing. So I think, as mom is saying, that it's good to prepare them. Let them know that things have changed. That instead of going to the office now, at home. Because many a times, even for us pastors, we preach and say that please leave your office wherever you are working. When you come home, you are a father, you are a mother, please attend to your children. But
yes.
You know, this has changed. The home space is still the office space. So it is a delicate balance, but for me, the thing that will matter here is your connection, your relationship with your children. How you talk to them, and they are able to understand, but between this time and this time, dad or mom will be working. And so we will give them this space for them to do that. Because they should also know that when you will be on Zoom, that is what will bring them food. So you must be able to explain this. But that will only work if you have a strong relationship with your children.
Wow. If you have a strong relationship with your children. And about the bottom line, you need to explain to them, you know what? We've just, I'm still working. The only thing that we've only transferred is the working station. We brought it at home. Wow, thank you so much. That was about the parents. I'll get back to you again, Pasi. I'm feeling our kids as parents, both of you being parents, I'm so happy I'm talking to parents. Do you think our kids are undergoing some psychological challenge, some effects? Do you think they are undergoing psychological challenge?
For me, I've been looking at this issue, and when I was told to be part of this,
Yes.
this is what I've been thinking. That COVID-19 has only exposed the challenges we've been having in the family.
The challenges.
Yeah. These things, I mean, us being away and everything, I mean, you are in your office, sort of did not allow many people to know, have relationship with their children. Now, the challenges we're seeing, like the teenage pregnancies, involvement in drugs, is an issue that we're beginning to realize that it has been. For example, some parents may even notice at this time that their children are involved in drugs. But it is because now they are at home, they can go into their room. Children have been doing those things all along. It's only COVID-19 is giving us some opportunity to be closer to our children, to understand them more.
Understand them more.
4 months is not a small period of time.
True.
Even if somebody was hiding something, you can be able to notice because you are with them each and every time. So COVID-19 is only exposing the challenges that have been there. It shows that the problem has been with us and we've been sweeping it under the carpet. And this is the time now. I mean, under the carpet now, the dirt is so much, it must just be swept.
Hold there. You've talked about pregnancies and you've talked about drugs. Yes. We'll get back to talk to that, because if we check on the social media and on our television sets and all, we've had very big numbers. I don't know if it's true about the girls getting pregnant and all. Hold that thought. We'll come back to it and talk about pregnancy as well and drugs.
Yes.
Mom, do you think our kids are undergoing some do you have some psychological effects on our kids during this period?
Patrick, allow me to say that there is a lot of psychological stress. These are children who have been told to go home. They don't know for how long. A lot of uncertainty. These are children who are ready to do an exam, KCSE, KCPE, but they are at home. These are children who have been socializing back at school. Socialization is no more. They've been quarantined. These are children, some of them have been having meals at school. Yeah? But now that meal is not there because the parents are not able to provide. They are tortured. They are hungry. Some of them, some girls' schools have interacted with them. They get their sanitary towels from the school. Right now, the towels are not there. These children are undergoing a lot of fear, a lot of torture, and I want each and every parent to talk to them, to counsel them. They need a lot of talk, intimate talk, close talk, because they don't know. Some of them don't really understand.
Maybe I should add something on that.
Yes.
Another psychological challenge that would be coming would be the relationship between their parents.
The relationship.
Some parents maybe unity and show love to each other, and their children can be able to notice that there is a problem between our parents. And then that really affects them. You know, if the parents have to quarrel before them, they have to call each other names, and that really becomes a very big challenge to the children. I'm also looking at if people are living in a plot.
Yes.
And because of each one wants to use maybe the drying cloth line, I mean, you want to share the water tap, and people disagree. And now the children can hear their parents quarrel with the neighbors. That really doesn't go very well with the children.
Something that these things have been happening, but again, they have been under the carpet. They've
been happening, but now
yes,
most of the children are in school. Those who are in boarding.
Yes.
Those who are at home, they are there for a very short time. They come home at maybe 5. In Nairobi, they arrive at their home maybe at 6. 6, they have to do a few issues, then they go to sleep. They don't really notice what happens.
True.
But now, the parents are there.
Yes.
The neighbors are there. They are also there. So when they disagree, this thing cannot be hidden.
True. They are watching. And something else that I noticed, I know we've talked about these, even the domestic violence in the house. I can imagine the kids are in the house. They are seeing this happen to your mom. They don't have anywhere to go. That is part of the psychological thing that has been affecting them as well.
Yes.
Allow me to ask this. From our discussion, is there a difference on how the COVID-19 has affected children compared to the adults? Is there a difference of how it has affected kids or the parents?
Yes, I think there is a difference. One difference is in terms of age.
The age.
The way people respond to threats.
Yes.
Different ages respond to threat in different ways. For example, the children sometimes when there is a threat, and this is also very different from one child to the other. For some children, even if you tell them this thing is dangerous, they don't fear that. They don't fear that. That is why you tell children that if you engage yourself in this, that is what they engage in. That is how they look at it. So they look at it differently. Now they have nobody depending on them. And something has brought a threat to your job and how you can provide to your family. The way you look at it is not the way the child looks at it. You are addressing the threat based on, can I be able to provide for my family tomorrow? For them, the threat is that you can deal with it. You are our father. You are the one. You are our mother. Deal with this threat. So don't tell us there is no food. So the way they look at it is different from the way you look at it as a grown-up.
Wow.
Yes.
So you are a father. You have to deal with this.
Yes, that is why they differ with somebody out there. They come and call you, Daddy, this one is beating me.
And they expect the dad to protect.
You, yes.
Interesting. Mama Leonora, do you have anything to add on
Yes,
that?
just like my pastor has said.
Yes.
The challenges are different.
Yes.
Now, spiritually, the children will also want to receive from their parents. Because now, the father, as the Bible puts it, he is the priest of the house. So they'll expect more from the father. They'll expect more from the mother. Unlike sometimes their siblings. Because now they know our pastor is not there. We are not going to church anymore. And this word of God, we are used to it every Sunday. We have to receive it. So they'll want to receive it from their parents. On the other hand, COVID-19 has made some of the children very responsible. Because now I have seen most of them are now taking the Bible and saying, Mommy, let's come and pray. Daddy, come and pray. They have really become evangelists in those families.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, by the time we'll be coming back, Pastor Demesi, things will be very different.
That is nice.
We will have so many evangelists. We'll have so many intercessors.
Yes.
These young people, they are powerful.
Yes.
Wow, that is something very powerful. Even we are having now churches in our houses, and pastors
right.
are not there to preach. Hey, men, we are called to be the leaders of the house. Men are taking it up. For those men who've not taken it up, the challenge, this is the time for you to pick it up. This discussion is very interesting, and as we are moving on, learn more. I'm a young father. I have a young family. So that by the time I'll be getting to 2 or 3, this thing you're talking here right now, I'll be able to put them into practice. Pastor Demesi, yes. In our discussion, we talked about some of the challenges that are happening right now. pregnancies. And I said, if you check our social media and our news, the cases are very high. Do we believe in those numbers? The first question, who is to blame?
I will say it is very difficult to just say parents are to blame, because there are parents who have really given their children all that a child is supposed to be given. Yet the child goes the other way. And I look at this in the sense that we should be able to look at this as a collective responsibility. That there are places where our children have let us down, and there are places that we have let our children down. So for me, I look at this problem and say, we have just two things, if I may say. We have a problem of commission, and we have a problem of omission.
Commission and omission.
Yes, and let me explain that.
Yes.
There are things as parents that we are supposed to do, but we have never done them. We have never done them. One, we have, for example, giving an example is we have narrowed down to provision, only the provision of food, the basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing. Some parents, education is pushed to the periphery. We need to expand the boundary, the space of what provision is. I think provision has to do with security, and security has to do with what harms our children physically, but also what harms our children psychologically. So we've been able to protect them physically, but we have never protected them from what hurts them and harms them psychologically. That is one thing. We are all time with our children. That is the problem of commission. We need time with our children, but parents have not been able to create time
with their children. Wow.
The sins of omission, there are things that we ought not to do, but we have done them in front of our children. For example, they closed the enjoyment places.
Yes.
And so some parents have decided to carry the restaurants
in the house,
the bus to the house. I mean, and then you tell your child, you're sipping your beer or whatever you're taking, and you're telling your children, never take this one. It is bad for you.
And you are taking.
And you're taking it. For children, it is not so much of what we tell them to do or not to do. Is so much what they see us doing as opposed to what we tell them. So they model what, you are supposed to model what you would want to see in your children. They take after your action. Yes.
Very interesting. Being a teacher, Jamhuri, I know, has a lot of boys. Being a mother of 1,000+, and all these people you mentor and all, the pregnancies that are around. I'm saying this with a heavy heart, because I'm looking at someone's time has been wasted. First question to you: do you believe the numbers that the government is giving us they're talking about 4,000+? 4,000+. Do you believe the number?
Okay, I'm one person who has really questioned those statistics. In fact, when I got it on a certain WhatsApp group, I replied very fast and told them, please give me the source of this information.
The source.
So I doubted. But penye moshi pana moto.
Ni kweli.
There is something happening in society. Something, as Patrick puts it, it is with a heavy heart that we are talking about it. There is a lot of sexual immorality in society. And as you asked, who is to blame? I want to say I'm to blame. I want to say that child is to blame. I want to say that parent is to blame. Why do I say so? From the time we closed school, called me and they are telling me, we have this madness. How do we go about it? How do you help my child? On the same note, I want to report that there are some parents who don't even bother. Sometimes we even call them and tell them we're having this Zoom lesson. Please get some data bundles for your child. And they just go like that without any comment. In fact, there's another one who told me, I have the phone. Once I reach the house, I'll call you. I'll tell my son to call you. Nothing happened. Getting to the pregnancies. Oh my. It is sad. I saw on WhatsApp a child of 13 or 14 in Bungoma who had given birth to three sons.
Yes.
Who is the father? A 14-year-old.
13.
13-year-old. Yes, Pastor, you're right. 13-year-old. And this is a child, a girl who comes and says, Serikali saidia. Serikali saidia.
Uh-huh.
Parents, where are we? On the other hand, still on television, we saw this parent, 75 years old. The daughter done so well, being admitted to more university. But this parent says, no, I want to marry you off. Parents, where are we? I want to ask parents, yes, your business has been closed. You are not on a salary. But how much time do you spend with this son of yours? How much time do you spend with these daughters? I want to thank God for parents, because I've seen on social media there are many fathers who sit their daughters down and tell them, you know what? This is my experience. This is how I moved from the time I was a teenage up to the time I courted your mother, up to the time we married, and here I am. And they give the whole story very candidly. I desire that as parents, we go candid. Let us hold them. Let us teach them. Let us counsel them. Let us give time to them. And also, children are bad. Not all parents are bad. As I've said, there are parents who've been calling me. There are some children who are very good. And even as they are out there, they are obedient and they are asking for direction from their parents. Mm-hmm. So even as a teacher of boys, a mentor, I talk to my boys time and again, and I tell them abstinence. I tell them this is not the time. You're still my student. Please chill. And indeed, some of them hear me. So according to your question, I want to say it is both people to be blamed. The schools have been helping us, you can see, in discipline, in everything. Patrick, I remember there's a time I was giving a Zoom lesson, and this going on my whiteboard. He was drawing some things, and the other teachers would tell him, stop doing it. And he would listen, and he did stop doing it. So sometimes the voice of the teacher really goes far. And some get frustrated. But it is also good for parents to call teachers at this time and just ask for way forward. Because I know there are some parents who are trying, but they are not able. So seek advice even as parents, because I know some parents never even fortunate. And I know some of them went to school, they are professors, they are doctors, but still they don't know what to do with these teenagers. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So there are experts out there. Let's go to them to get advice so that we can save this generation. Thank you.
But
wow.
Maybe I add something.
Yes.
Patrick, I would also say, you know, COVID-19
in a big way.
In a very big way.
Yes.
And for me, I would look at it this way, that parents now, we have to begin to ask ourselves, what are our values in life? What is it that we value so much? And for me, I would look at it this way. It is important for us to attach a value on each and every aspect of life. For example, let's have values attached to the way we dress. Let's have values attached to how we eat and what we do when we are eating. Let's attach values on our sexual life. Because some of the parents, what they do before their teenage children is what pushes their children into doing what they are doing. So if we can attach values that this is what we will do, When it comes to food, this is what we will do. Sexual life, let's talk about it. That you can't just put on the way you want to put on. This is how we will dress. Yes?
Yes.
Because even in the old days, let's not say that this generation has changed. Has it changed to help us or to destroy us? Because their parents, it doesn't make sense for a girl to come before the father and her breasts are out.
They're hanging out.
They're hanging out. It is embarrassing. They may not see it as a problem, but that could be a problem to even the brothers in that house. Supposing now you have a cousin. And for us, this issue of cousin, we even don't tell our children about it so much.
We don't talk about it.
Yes, we bring somebody and we just bring from the village. It's your brother's son. And he comes to your house. And your daughter has her breast out. What happens? They have an attraction to them. They are growing. Remember, they are growing in their, puberty stage. That is what they want to explore. And what they see is what they want to, that is how they want to go. So we must have values attached to every aspect of our life. And this COVID-19 issue should help us to begin to go that direction.
Let me just add something.
Yes.
It is not only girls.
Yes.
Students are at risk. Old women are out there now, they are really luring them because they know they are not in school. So even for the boy child, it is a threat. I was listening to news over radio this morning, and I was hearing of a lady, a mature lady. I'll not mention the town. This is a lady who behaves like she's mad or she's drunk. And she goes to other people's houses. When she finds your son there,
Wow.
she will start doing things that are not good. So there's one mother who said, no, don't move near my son. That parent was very strict. So parents, even as you're out there, take care of the boy child. The boy child is also at risk because there are many old women who want to misuse them during this time of COVID-19.
Thank you. In fact, I wanted, because this thing has, when you look at pregnancy, we're just looking at the girl child who has been affected. But I thank God you've mentioned something to do with the boy child as well. Allow me to go to our Facebook page to get some comments as well. And then I have a question for all of you again. Anne Wasike, thank you so much for tuning in. Anne is saying parents need to be keen on what their children are doing or talking about. We all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
This can give them clues to pick up a discussion with them. Children yearn for our attention as parents. Very true?
Very true.
Let us involve them in our talks. It makes them feel secure and loved. We've already, in our talking, all these we've been able to mention all these things about getting involved with our children and all. I'm happy people are alluding to it. When we talk about pregnancies, we talked about parents and all. But the question is, now the girls are here. Wanasemanga maji yakimwagika hayazoleki. Ni ukweli. What needs to be done right now? Maji yakimwagika hayazoleki. Yes, our girls are here. They are pregnant. Very soon, hopefully, the schools might be opened in September, God willing. What happens? Let me start with Pastor.
For me, I will look at it this way. Different people have challenges in different ways.
True.
And I am very sure some of the parents who may be shocked about their children being pregnant are parents who have respect maybe in church, in the society, and they would not want that reputation tainted in whichever way. So for me, one of the things that I'm now beginning to fear is that numbers, because even the government has come out to disapprove that,
yes.
That is not true. But whichever way, if our girls are pregnant, some of the parents would want to go the way of terminating the pregnancy.
Just say it, abortion, eh?
Yes, abortion. So to keep their name in the society, to keep the name in the society, or their title even in church. But I would want to encourage this way. It has happened. This is a problem that is affecting almost every household. And so, let's not add another problem to the problem that is already there. I mean, sinning to God the second time by taking your child to do an abortion. Because that will destroy the child's future.
There's some
Remember,
effects.
yes, you will never forget as a parent that that is what you did. And the girl will never forget in her life that that is what she did. Is that Mama has brought in the issues of the boys.
Yes.
We are talking about, because the girls are the ones who are carrying the pregnancy. And many parents, boys, when the girls will point at their boys, they will deny. They will join their boys to say it is not true because they want to evade the responsibility. I would want to call on to parents before they, side with their boys. They should also be asking themselves, if those girls are pregnant, who was responsible? It is our boys. It's the men in the society.
True.
So we must be able to look at it that this problem has come to all of us, and the way to go is to make the girls know that they have slipped in life, but they can still make it.
It's not the end of the world.
Don't tell them now it is over, you will never go back to school. Let them know that what they have done is wrong, point the problem, but also give them hope.
Give them hope.
That we can work it out from here. Moving forward, so that you can be able to go back to school.
Wow.
Remind them of their life goals. What have they been yearning to become in life? If your girl is in Form 1 and she's pregnant, don't tell her, now you'll never be a teacher, now you'll never be a doctor. Tell them, this is a mistake you've done, but I am willing to work with you. This should be a lesson to you. Help them to think that there can be life after this challenge.
Accepting the situation the way it is.
Yes.
Mom, maji yakimwagika hayazoleki.
Sure. The Bible in Ephesians 6 verse 4 says that parents have been charged with the responsibility of bringing up their children, mentoring them, and even being role models. And Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he grows, he'll never depart from it. My question is, parents, how have we been training our children? That is the question. Number 2, maji yamemwagika, hayawezi kuzoleka. I would advise us parents to know the status of our girls, our boys. I failed to say that not only pregnancies, there are some that even are now HIV positive during this time. There are some that are in crime. They are stealing. They are mugging people. There are some who are drinking off alcohol. We've seen videos. I don't know whether they are true, but we've seen them on social media. There are some who have started testing bang. Yeah? Many other social evils in society that are not good. So as Patrick says, maji yamemwagika. What do we do? What is the way forward? Number 1, parents, let us sit with those girls. Let us sit with those boys. The figures may not be true, or they may be true. Let us do what we call guidance and counseling. As Pastor says, tell them that this is not the end of life. Take care of the pregnancy. Do not terminate it. Do not abort it. Even as I'm talking, I know there are some who have already procured abortions. Truth be told, it is quite a pity.
Yes.
But for those who are still carrying the pregnancy, kindly, let them carry the pregnancy. Parents, accept it. Help them to go through it. When they give birth, help them to take care of their children and tell them there is a tomorrow. I'm waiting for my senior, the Professor Magoha, to tell me what will happen. I had a rumor, but I cannot stand on that rumor. I am waiting for him to tell us the way forward, how we are going to take care of these girls who are expectant and they are supposed to go to school in September, I don't know if there'll be a different institution for them. I don't know if they'll come in class and sit with the others. I yet do not know. But I pray and wish that these girls are given a chance, that they are not stigmatized, because you never know. Maybe they are the professors of tomorrow.
True.
Thank you.
And then maybe, Patrick,
Yes.
let me say this.
Uh-huh.
If you are a parent
Uh-huh.
and your daughter you have not seen the pregnancy, don't be very quick to point to the other parent whose daughter has kept the pregnancy.
Wow.
Yours may have known so much
Uh-huh.
that she has gone before you knew it and procured an abortion. So she's not good either. It is good for you to know that this is our problem. This is the time we need to bring back our Africanness.
Our
We
Africanness,
ha-
yeah?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
where parents, parented together as a community. We left each one and we became so individualistic.
Uh-huh.
And you said, my children are my children. So that even your neighbor would meet your daughter doing something out there and your neighbor would not say anything. Because if you came to tell them, they would tell you who gave you an authority to police my children.
Huyo ni mtoto wangu.
Huyo ni wangu.
Aha.
Akiharibika wacha haribike. But we need now to come together
Yes.
and say, mine may not be pregnant
Uh-huh.
at this particular moment, but I am not I'm not safe either. She's still growing. She's still meeting people. So we need to come together and develop a parenting plan. And the parenting plan is this. I think parents should, one, sit with their children and identify the life-threatening or dangerous situations that may come in their life, the pressures that are coming. Like maybe sitting with your children and asking them, what do your friends tell you to do? And they will tell you, they are telling me to smoke, they are telling me to engage in boyfriend-girlfriend relationship that goes beyond the boundaries. And so tell them, how do you then overcome that? Because you must sit with your child and help them to plan how they will act and what they will say should they find themselves in that position.
In that
And
position.
then the last thing is you may even decide to role play with them. Sit with them, tell them, I am your friend. I'm coming to tell you to smoke. I want you to answer me how you would answer, how you will deal with that issue. And see how empower your child, so that your child may be able to mingle with others, but with the information.
Wow. Thank you, Pasi. Allow me to ask you a question, because Mama has talked about the girls and waiting for the direction from the CS for education for the girls, what should be done to them. You know, this pregnancy, the girl didn't carry it alone. There are responsible boys there are people who are responsible.
Yes.
What should be done to the boys? I know you had talked about the parents not denying, but what should be done to the boys?
You know,
Let me just say something.
Yes.
They may not even be boys. They are parents. Some of them are
some
parents who
parents.
are responsible for these pregnancies. Some of them are big people, old people.
Yes.
Because some of these pregnancies have happened because of rape, because of defilement.
exactly.
Not really just agreement or the sexual consent.
It's even
No.
incest.
Wow.
Yes, even incest. So it is not only this boy in a certain school who did this. There are many parties involved.
Thank you. Let me rephrase it. Thank you for that. What should be done to the people who are responsible for this?
I think now the days of telling our girls, if you walk with boys, you will get pregnant. If you sleep with boys, you will get pregnant. I mean, the message must change. And then number two, we must now begin to address the boy child.
Address the boy child.
Yes, yes. Boys want to marry virgins, but they have destroyed the virgins when they were growing up. So why do you want to get a virgin when you have grown up and you destroyed many virgins?
Wow.
When they were young? It is time to tell them now, you must now begin to know. If you are not ready to be a father, don't engage in things that makes people fathers.
Stay away.
Stay away. And give them, don't just threaten them. Tell them how that will also affect them.
The
Tell
consequences.
Them, yes, tell them it's not just that the girl will go with the pregnancy and you can still continue with your education. That this can be a ripple effect even to the marriages they will have.
Wow.
So let them not look at it that nitaruka futi kumi, lakini this thing may follow them in their marriages.
In future.
Remember, you may deny it, but the truth will remain in you.
Wow. I can see my director telling me our time is almost up. Back on our social media page, Mr. Eric
Let me
Amhai.
say something.
Yes.
About the culprits.
Culprits.
This
What
is
should
a
be done to
country.
them?
This is a country with law, and I'm praying that the feeder comes in, so that the law will really work at this point in time. Because if they are minors, Patrick, there is no shortcut. The law is very clear, and the culprits have to face the law. Sorry to say that.
They have to face the law. There is no shortcut.
Don't be sorry, Mama.
It's just say the way it is. They have to follow. The law has to apply.
Yes.
Before we wind up, before I go to the social, when I'm going to after the social media, I'll give you an opportunity, both of you, so that we get to wind up. But I think this topic is wider. We can always reconsider having a part because we just dealt with it.
Can do part 2 next.
Yeah, we can do part 2 next time. We get to explore into the second bit. But on our social media page, Mr. Amhaya is saying a great insight. Following. Faith Ogalo, great mommy, we are following you. And then a comment here from Mr. Eric Amhaya. By the way, he was my primary school teacher. For those who don't know. He's saying on the upsurge of teenage pregnancy, all the attention and condemnation has been directed to the girl. What are we doing with our boys who often than not go away feeling heroic? That is a question. That's a question. Will you want to give it a...
Yes, that is why I'm saying
Yes.
now we must begin to do boys mentorship.
Boys
And you know
mentorship.
why sometimes we don't have boys mentorship even in churches and other places is that many of the men are culprits.
Men of the men in
Yes,
church.
they did that in their youthful age and they denied. And so you want to come here and you feel you do not have the moral authority to do that. But I say this,
Yes.
even for the men, right now, it's high time that men begin to take responsibility. If you have fathered a child out there, don't leave those children to be, street boys and street girls. Why don't you own up and say, this was my work? Take them. That is the first step when people begin to own the responsibility. Number 2, having the boys, talking to the boys and telling the boys that these girls you are destroying is supposed to be somebody's wife tomorrow. So you can't spoil somebody's wife and then you will want yours to be kept.
Very true.
So mentorship to the boys is something that we can do. Telling the fathers now to step up and help the boys.
And just a word on that, when we are talking to our boys, it's very important to tell them, fine, you might leave that child outside there. You'll get married. You'll get kids. Will you want the same thing to apply to your child? You'll get married. You'll have kids. Will you want your girl to be done the same way you did to the other person? Just having that discussion and telling them the repercussions. Mom.
Yes, the boy should not go away feeling heroic. No, he shouldn't at all. I am sure parents of boys are listening to us, and also parents of boys. It is also high time you sit those boys and ask them, have you done something during this COVID period? And if you have done, with who? And then you tell them the repercussions, that now you are no longer a boy. You are now a father to somebody. Take responsibility as a father. So tell them clearly that giving birth to a child or siring a child means you have to provide for that child. You have to provide for that lady. You have to take care. Tell them the responsibilities that come with having children outside before they are married. Another thing, as Pastor has said, the Bible says sex is for married people, 2 people who are married. And when you have sex with somebody who is not your wife, there is what you call a soul tie. You're tied together. So that even after you are now mature, you have your job, and you want to get married, that partner will still follow you. Sometimes they call them spiritual husbands or spiritual wives. This is somebody you had sex with who was not your husband. Pronounced husband and wife by the pastor. So, it is also upon the children now to follow that and break it, because you are tied together with that person, and that is something that is disturbing many marriages. As I've counseled many women, I realize that that is something that shakes a lot of marriages. So they really have to pray about it. I also want to urge parents, pray for these children, male or female, pray for them. They need a lot of our prayer. Pray for them without ceasing.
Wow. Pasi,
Yes.
it has been a very deep discussion. Your parting shot: 1, as a father; 2, as a pastor; 3, as a coach, life coach.
Number one, I would say as a father, this makes me really worried. But again, then it helps me to begin to think, what is the best way I can bring up my children? So it's a mixed reaction, feeling worried that I'm not safe. I mean, it doesn't mean that because my daughter, my son has not done anything, so I am a superhero parent. I'm looking at the issue of trying to empower myself as a parent. If there could be people having parental empowerment seminars, I would want to be part of them. I think I need to empower myself more. Number 2, get to have friends who together we can have the same values and we can help each other to talk to our children. And then number 3, as a life coach, I would say, I think now we need to come out very clearly and say the things we've been avoiding, we need to begin to do them. Sometimes we have seminars. A seminar is organized by the church. You need parents. Parents don't come. You need boys to come. They don't come. They are busy watching Manchester United and
Arsenal.
And Arsenal. But I think now we are realizing that family is important. When football is not there, when you cannot go to church anymore, when you cannot go back to your place of work, you will still have your family.
You will still
so
have your
let's
family.
take it seriously.
We take it serious.
Yes.
Mom, your parting shot: 1, as a counselor; as a mother who has kids in the house; 3rd, as a teacher.
Okay. As a mother, I would like to tell my sons and daughters, avoid mischief during this COVID-19. It is a time to reconsider yourself and just focus on that dream. Please don't allow the internet, don't allow peer influence to affect your dream. Please live your dream. You want to be a doctor, please make sure you become one. You want to be an engineer, you want to be a business person, you want to be a pastor, please focus and make sure you become one. Another thing I would like to tell parents, it is a time to buy books. It is a time to seek expert counsel. It is a time to talk about sexual education with your children. Please don't shy off telling them that when you have sex with a girl, you release your sperms and that goes and makes a child. Don't fear to sit your daughter and tell her now, you're having your periods. Now, when you sleep with a boy, when you have sex with a boy, you will conceive, and carrying that child comes with a lot of consequences. It is a time now you have not to hide anything from our children, because remember, parents, you will be accountable on the last day when we reach heaven for these children. Make sure you take good care of them, and with the help of God, you're going to make it. And finally, I would like to tell the church to pray. The church, our work is to pray. President Uhuru's work is to lead the nation. The governors are leading us. Church, let us go back to what we used to do long time ago, as Pastor says, praying without ceasing. Prayer and fasting is very important at this time, because the evils in society, they are just bad and they are disgusting to God. So the church, let us go on our knees. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, our panelists. Dear viewers, thank you so much for watching us. Today we were talking about COVID-19 and parental challenges. And the question was, what can parents do? From what our panelists have talked about, parents, we need to be there for our kids. We need to have the candid talk with our kids. Thank you so much. For the young girls, you are there, you have the pregnancy. Just know you've not done any mistake. There's still tomorrow. God loves you, your parents love you, and you'll make it. Don't procure abortion. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.